The morning sun filtered through the enormous glass windows of Adrian Cole's penthouse, casting warm gold on the sleek marble floors. From the outside, Adrian's life was the definition of perfection: luxury cars, private jets, tailored suits, and a business empire worth billions. But inside, Adrian Cole was a man who trusted few and forgave even fewer. That's why when he walked into his kitchen one Thursday morning and saw his maid, Maria, rummaging inside his fridge without permission, something in him snapped. "What are you doing?" Adrian's voice was sharp, cold. Maria froze, clutching a small container in her hands. She stammered, I was just," but Adrian cut her off. "You were helping yourself to my food. Is that what I pay you for?" His words echoed in the grand kitchen like a hammer on steel. He had hired Maria only 3 months ago, and now he felt betrayed. Without listening to her explanation, Adrian's tone turned final. "You're fired. Collect your things and leave. Now." Maria's eyes welled up, but she didn't argue. She simply placed the container back on the shelf, murmured, "I understand, sir," and walked toward the door. For Adrian, it was just another day of enforcing discipline. He believed rules were rules, no exceptions. But the image of Maria's trembling hands lingered in his mind for reasons he couldn't explain. That evening, while having dinner alone, Adrian glanced at the same fridge Maria had opened that morning. A strange guilt pricked at him, though he brushed it off. He was not a man to second-guess himself. But the next day, as he was being driven to his office, Adrian spotted something unusual: a woman sitting on a park bench with 2 small children, one wrapped in a threadbare blanket. She looked painfully familiar. It was Maria. On impulse, he told his driver to pull over. Stepping out, Adrian approached. The children looked pale, their eyes sunken from exhaustion. "Maria," he said softly. She looked up, startled, and then lowered her gaze, as if ashamed. "Mr. Cole, I didn't expect to see you." Adrian glanced at the children. "These are your kids?" She nodded, brushing the hair from the little girl's face. The question burned in his chest. "Why were you in my fridge yesterday?" She hesitated, her voice breaking. "My son, he has leukemia. The treatments are expensive, and the medicine makes him sick if he doesn't eat right after. We were out of food at home. I didn't want to steal, I just wanted to pack something for him so he wouldn't vomit after his dose. I thought you wouldn't notice if I took a little bread and milk." Adrian's stomach churned. He remembered the container in her hands. It had been a simple Tupperware with leftover soup. Not a luxury, not some prize to steal, just a meal. His throat tightened. He had fired her without giving her a chance to speak. And now here she was, sitting in the cold with 2 hungry children, one fighting for his life. A silence fell between them before Adrian finally spoke. "Why didn't you tell me?" She shook her head. "Pride and fear. People look at me differently when they know. I didn't want pity." Adrian felt something inside him crack. This wasn't about a maid opening a fridge, it was about his own blindness to the struggles of the people around him. He had built his empire by being ruthless, but somewhere along the way, he had lost sight of compassion. Without another word, Adrian called his driver and told him to take Maria and her children to the best pediatric hospital in the city. He covered every cost: treatments, lodging, food. But it didn't stop there. Adrian reinstated her as his housekeeper, this time with triple her salary, flexible hours, and a promise that she would never have to choose between her job and her children again. Months later, Maria's son was in remission. She still worked for Adrian, but their relationship had changed. She was no longer just the maid, and he was no longer just the boss. She often brought homemade meals to the office, and Adrian would find himself sitting at the kitchen table with her kids, laughing in a way he hadn't done in years. In interviews years later, when Adrian was asked about the turning point in his life, he didn't mention a business deal or an investment. He would simply say, "The day I fired my maid was the day I learned what kind of man I didn't want to be."